All right. So
Okay, Rabbi.
tonight's class is about the last week's parasha, not the coming week. It's about Parah Adumah. And before we move on, should we read a little bit of a Parah Adumah?
Yeah, you have to.
Or everybody knows it?
I think everybody knows. I don't know.
Um,
Thinking it could be down, like, whatever. So who you like?
well, what's important that I want to point out about it is this. Parah Adumah has a very interesting location in the Torah. Chapter 17 is Korah, or chapter 16, I should say. Chapter 16, right?
Yeah.
And then it turns to the people who say anybody who goes near the Mishkan is going to die, call it Kedev, right? Umat, and so on and so forth. And then the plague breaks out, and Moshe says he tells him, quick, take the Ketoret and go to Edah, chaper alehem, ki yatzar ketzef, mifnei Hashem, mechel hanagif. So he takes it and he makes kapara, and he stands between the living and the dead. And then it says to take the mater from each one of the people, each one of the tribes, and the one of Aaron is the one that rules over the rest of them. But it sprouts. It says Vayosef Vera Vayosef Stis Vayigmol Shekledim. Hey, how you doing? So it ends up with, of course, as we've spoken at in the past, it ends up with it flowers and produces almonds, right? And of course, that has a tremendous amount of meaning. This almond thing, you don't see that word occur often in the Torah. You see it occur on the menorah. You want to quote the pasuk, Ron? Kaftor v'fera. So it's interesting, of course, because it says kaftor, and kaftor is kapara, right? Kaporet has the word kaporet in it, right? It's an anagram, and then it's kaftor v'fera. And over here, the word, huh?
What does that mean? I know it means
Almonds. Looks like almonds.
But what does that mean?
And the menorah was almond picture shape. And then, you look at it and you see a thing of almonds.
I'm saying, what does it signify? What does it mean?
One second. Okay. Over here is Vayosef Fera. It happens to be by accident. It's just a pera, right? Flowered, right? Or sprout, whatever you want to call it. So whether it be on menorah or whether it be on the mater, and of course the mater represents, well, every time you see the mater represents prophecy, right? So the one from the Kohanim that stood out and was the one that right, it's the one that becomes, so to speak, the leader, right? It represents, and that represents the priesthood, right? Of course, the famous thing is that the first prophecy of Yirmiyah is Hashem tells him what he says. He says, "I see Makil Shakid. I see the rod of an almond tree." So he tells me so well, because I am watching using a play on the word, right? The shake, not almond, but watching or quickly it's going to happen. It's going to be fast, yeah, and it's going to happen, and the destruction is coming.
You don't think Shekid has anything to do with Kadosh?
Kodesh, yeah, I know. You can't help but think about that because it's an anagram of holy.
Yeah,
So I
produces Kedoshim.
But why specifically does the menorah, it seems like it's purposely going back to the menorah.
because the menorah represents the Torah.
The light.
Those the construction of the menorah really has to do with the construction of the Torah. They're one unit, it's 7 parts, and Rabbi Sassoon was very confident that there's a central point and 3 of the points going out from it on each side, and that represents the 5 books of the Torah, which end up being 7 because one of them functions in 2 parts, right? And that's how he looked at it. So from Rabbi Sassoon's perspective, it's clearly being used on purpose over there because the rest represents the Torah. And therefore, when you see the word Kodesh, my best way to say this to you is it could be very well on purpose. Right? Could be very well a play. You have the word holy, you have the word almond, you have the word is coming quickly, and
I mean, the whole story is about holiness.
huh?
The whole story is about holiness. They claim Kulam Kedoshim.
That's right.
Korah.
There was Korah, right? We're all right. You know, it's interesting that their claim and Miriam's claim have a lot of similarity in them.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't God talk to us?
Yeah.
No, I never spoke to you. And super angry. And be aware of the fact that if Korah died, right? They died from the rebellion. Well, Miriam was dying. Because when Aaron comes to him and says, don't let her be like
Met.
yeah.
Right.
Right, like when there's a miscarriage, right? Like when the fetus is coming out, like half of their skin is gone, it's a stillborn. So he tells that to Moshe. Moshe says, Il Nadifanalah, and she gets better.
Right.
But if not for Moshe's intervention, she would not have survived.
But by the way, both stories open with a ringleader and doing something with other people, but it's in singular. So it's Vaikam Korah,
Right.
even though it's with everybody else, and it's Vatedaber Miriam, you know she's with Aharon.
Right, correct. Because she's the ringleader and he's the ringleader.
Right.
So it's very, very interesting that the two challenges are not far from each other. Miriam is in chapter 12, and now we're in chapter 16, right? So there's no accident, so to speak, about what's going on over here. And they're both internal enemies. It's his first cousin and his sister.
But his brother also. Like, isn't it
No, his
funny
brother's
that?
just a side point.
But he's part of the rebellion. I mean,
Yes.
he joined, but
Yes.
he was secondary, but he was still there.
Yeah,
Then God affirms him in
Yeah.
the next story and says only he gets to be Kohen. Isn't
Right.
that weird?
right. It's weird. It is weird. Yeah. What does that mean, right? It produced Shekidim and so on and so forth, and then he's chosen, but he blows it.
Right.
Right.
Aaron was part of rebellion?
With Miriam?
Miriam, yeah.
With Miriam, right? Yeah, yeah.
But then he's rebelled against by Korah. Interesting.
Korah comes after him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Korah wants total power, right? He wants to have his cake and he wants to eat it too. He wants everything.
What's the
So the
significance
interesting-
of the Makel going into the Aron?
sorry?
Beyond the mateh of Aaron, the one that blossomed.
Yeah,
You know, not on the surface, like more deeply. Is there any more deeper meaning to that?
well, there's certainly a lot of deeper meanings going on here, and I'm not speaking them out. But use your imagination. Of course, I brought up Yirmiyah to say that Yirmiyah, his prophecy is the one he says, I see Makil Shaked,
Yeah.
right? And he's the prophet who has that vision, and it's his first prophecy. So there's very, very key things going on. I think the word Shaked occurs in the Torah only 8 times, maybe. Yeah, I do. I think so. I wouldn't
In
be
the Torah or the
surprised.
Tanakh?
Like 3 and 3 with the menorah, and this one over here, and one other time, and that's something like that. I'm not
Torah.
in Torah, not Torah.
Oh, Botanim Ushkedim.
Yeah,
Where is that?
that's with he's Yosef. He
Right.
sends Botnim, right? They sends gifts, right? So in any event, the 2 challenges, I just want to point out that the challenges are in close proximity, and one of them is against, both of them are against Moshe, and the both of them, one of them, the rebellious person. Hey, how you doing? Welcome. Right over there. Make a left turn. One of them does die, the whole group, and the other one was dying. Right, but survives Sarat, right? And as we said, Sarat is always coming up with prophetic things, right? Right.
Especially with Gehazi.
Especially with Gehazi, who goes to Naaman and checks line, and Elisha goes absolutely bonkers, because that's the ultimate Hilul Hashem. You know, how dare you take money from him? In any event, what you see is this. There's 60. So there was 12, that's Miriam. Now you have 16. 17 is the Shekedim, and then 19 is the Parah Adumah. Now 18 comes in between. What's 18 doing in between? Well, 18 opens up with these words. Listen to the last verse, because we have time constraints here. I'm going to read to you the end of chapter 17. V'yor Adonai al Moshe hashevet mateh Haron lefnei ha'edut lemishmeret leot lebnei Meri. Who has English over here? Anybody? You have the English, Mark? Yeah, you could read it. It's verse 25.
Yeah, so the Lord said to Moshe, put back Aharon's staff in front of the Ark of the Covenant, serve as a sign to rebels, so that the railings against me end.
Utchal tulunotam me'alai v'lo yamutu. And they won't die. And they asked Moshe, by the way, you know, of course, what I say about Bnei Meri, Morris? Bnei Meri, Mary's children, right? I say that's Bnei Meri, that's Miriam's, right? The Bnei Meri. It's a play. It's a play, right?
Is that like Bnei Korah?
Yeah, exactly. You have the Bnei Korah and you have the Bnei Meri. And remember, I just now said that isn't there in that basket? There's nothing there. No, I don't know that. Look inside there. Yeah. So I don't think it's accidental, the Bnei Meri and the Bnei Korah, and you end up with Bnei Meri here. And the 2 stories, Bnei Meri, Miriam, rebellion, show us life of it, is against Moshe, she wants to take over, right? Then God speaks to us also. God says, I never spoke to you, and is furious, as we've spoken about before. More than furious. Remember, he storms out of the room and so on and so forth. That said, at that juncture, Vayomiru b'nei Yisrael Moshe lemor, Hen gavatnu, abadnu, kulanu abadnu. You could read that in verse in English. It's the next verse after that, Morris.
I said,
We are going to die. We are lost. All of us are lost.
Kol hakarev el mishkan Adonai
Whoever approaches the Lord's tabernacle is to die.
yamut, will die. Haim tamnu legvoa.
To die out completely.
Is this the end of us? Right? And then 18 says, this is where Aaron is told, you're responsible for when the people infringe. You are the one who allowed that to happen, because it means that you didn't handle the situation properly. We always use when we get to this juncture the famous thing. Now, who's responsible for the accidents? The town. If they had traffic lights and they had proper things, if there's an accident, you look at it, you say, it was preventable. Who's responsible for it? You are. You, the people who run the town. Why didn't you put up big signs? Why didn't you put up blinking lights? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do whatever you have to do? Right? So you're the ones that are responsible, right? The sin, quote unquote, of your kehuna, etc. Now there's 4 sections over here, and Aaron is spoken to directly, and this is the only time that Aaron is spoken to, other than I think one other time, because it starts off with Vayomer Hashem el Aaron in 18:1, and then there's 18:8, Vayomer el Aaron, I gave you Tiromotai, and so on and so forth. And then there's one more time. I think there's 3 of them here, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't there? It's in the middle of one of them, right? Let's see if I find it. Does anybody see the 3rd one? I think there's another one.
Where he talks to him alone?
Yeah, like that, where it says Vayomer Aaron. Vayomer Hashem el Aaron. So there's 18:1.
Yeah, that's in Pasuk Chaf.
18:8.
I know.
18:8.
Chaf, 18 Chaf.
18 Chaf. There it is. Vayomer Aaron. Right? You can't get any kind of inheritance, right? Ani halakha. You can come inside and get some fruit. So that's 3 times, and it's directly to Aaron, which is very unusual. I told you, I think there's only one other time that he speaks directly to Aaron. I think maybe there's the one with what do you call it? After the sons die.
Yeah,
That's one of them when he tells them,
Yair
V'shechad al tesh, right?
The other one is when he tells him, go meet Moshe.
Yeah, right. Because you got to speak to him to tell him to go, right? Right, but the one with Yair V'shechad al tesh, of course, is critical.
Yeah.
And it's right. That means that's why they draw the conclusion they were drunk, so on and so forth. But these laws over here in 18 are super revolutionary. Yes, Vayikra is super revolutionary. I don't say no, but over here, they are spoken to like this. You work for me. You're workers, and I pay you for your work. Like you check it with the clock, right? What do you call it? When you used to have the
Punch in.
punch in, and then I pay you according to whatever you do, but you're just workers. It makes them enjoy. Did it start raining?
It's pouring.
Oh, it's already pouring.
Pouring and thunder and lightning. Yeah?
Stop soon.
Take a raincoat, Linda. You'll get soaked. Is that
Yeah, the rest of it is over.
really? It passed already. Great.
I think,
Watch out. Right.
Grandpa, their complaint right before 18.
I just had my generator serviced. I'm very happy to say. Yeah.
They say,
Conditioning for
"Ha'im tamu ligvoa," are we ever going to stop perishing?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. And the B'nai Medi, right? So
Yeah.
it's very interesting that the complaint of the rebels in Hukat is Lu gavanu b'gva
Yeah,
Adonai.
We should have died with them rather than this is a fate worse than death, so to speak.
And it's probably talking about this incident, like if only, because 250 people died and one
Yeah.
got shot. But like,
Yeah.
why did we stick it out for 40 years? We
Right.
could have just died then.
Right. The same words, gavatnu.
And the Fnei Hashem.
Right. So what's going on? It's all concentrated over here.
Yeah.
This is all very concentrated. Remember, we're looking at like one shot of text over here. And this all started after the middle point of the midbar and the reverse noons. All of this set in motion right then, right? So when I say the revolutionary, this is where the Kohen really becomes. You don't have any part in the land, and Maaser, Levim have to give a Maaser from the Maaser, the Levi, right? What are you looking at?
Bug,
Oh,
it's very big.
All right.
oh yeah, he's a big one.
You're bigger.
Oh yeah, he's big. Somebody kill him. Whoever's not afraid. Yeah. No. You got to kill him for the kids.
I can trap him, get him out.
I'll do it. You keep.
Okay, you get him. Find yourself a towel or something and take care of him.
The vegans are excused.
So they're very specific laws. And I told you that the main one is this is your responsibility. This is what you do. You're responsible for the people. They do wrong. You're gonna suffer. Now the opening words of 18 of Yom HaShem, etc. And then look what it says. It says, I'm reading the end, verse 7. You mat.
Right.
The wrong guy dies. Oh, this guy said he doesn't know how to do it good. You need to Sammy help him.
I got it.
Nothing.
That's.
You need a dish towel. Good.
Dish towel, yeah.
Okay.
So
He's just fast, he's a little fast, that's the.
yeah. So then take a look at the closing words of 18.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure it's the closing words. 32 or 31. Let's say 31. Because it's your reward. You get paid in place of your work that you do, right? Be'ol moed. And then you got it?
Right. Oh,
Mabruk. Just step on him now.
Powders.
ולא תישאו עליו חטא, והרימכם את חלבו ממנו, ואת קודשי בני ישראל, ולא תחללו ולא תמותו. There's those words, and you won't make חילול Hashem. Of course, whenever you say ולא תחללו ולא תמותו, that's the clothing. What does that mean, Morris? There was abuse taking place, and you won't make חילול Hashem, and you won't die.
I mean, like, what was going on?
Yeah. So now these are super revolutionary laws related to the priesthood coming here. Why wasn't this in Vayikra? Why wasn't it after Ya'im v'Shechar al Tesht? Why, etc. But over here is where it comes up. Now, again, we should read all of it, and there's no time to read all of it, but you get the gist of what's going on. Right after that, it says Zot Hukat HaTorah and Parah Adumah. So listen, Korah is a rebellion, as we wrote in Volume 1, and you all know, B'nai Korah Mizmorim are about the monarchy, right? 45 is that odd man out that describes what was going on with the monarchy. There are a bunch of decadent lowlifes, right?
yeah.
Self-centered, selfish, into themselves, power. People weren't their primary goal at all. They were their goal, right? Now, in Tehillim, right when you finish Korah, the last one is the one that you say in the Bet Avil about death, which you all know that one. You're not going to take it with you when you go down and so on and so forth, which we're going to try and get to tonight. That's the objective. Immediately after 49 comes the 50th Mizmor, which is Asaph. In volume 2, which were 4 chapters are completely edited and 6 more to go. I got Joey Angel, Rabbi Ralphie, and Nathan working in concert now for the next 6-7 weeks to finish off everything and get it to the publisher. So Asaph is the religious establishment. That's the 50th Mizmor. Starts off by talking about the trial against the priests. And you think I'm going to let you get away with this, and you think I eat bull meat, and you think I need you to feed me, and how silly. And then, and you'd sell your brother down the river for 5 cents. And they get smashed in that trial by God. God is the judge. Now, the next time you're going to see an Asaph religious establishment, that was book 2 in Tehillim, 42 to 49, and then 50. You go to the 3rd book, and it starts off with Asaph, and then moves it after 11 Mizmorim into Korah. There are 12 Korah Mizmorim and 12 Asaph Mizmorim. Okay. So every time you have an Asaph, you have a Korah. A Korah, you have an Asaph. Every time you have an Asaph, you have a Korah. You don't have one without the other, ever. And they're tied at the hip. Okay? ABBA. That said, when I came to Bimidbar, I went, 1 second. I just now got Korah. Now I write in the commentary that Korah is Bnei Korah, the children of Korah, because it says in the 26th chapter, Ubnei Korah lo metu. In the Reuben census, where it says when it says not census in the Reuben genealogy, and when it gives the numbers, it says in the Reuben, it says and the Eliab and so on and so forth. They died in the rebellion with Korah, and Ubnei Korah lo metu. What does that have to do with price of tomatoes? What do they have to do with anything with Reuben? Where is it coming from? It comes from out of nowhere. From nowhere. That's telling you they didn't die. They're still around. And of course, in the ancient world, monarchies, if the kid's still alive, comes back to haunt you. Bnei Korah lo metu means I wrote in the book, they don't become part of the glee club. Because that's what
Because they're singers.
they're the singers. They're not the glee club. It's very good, but I didn't write the words glee club. It was either Alex or Ricky's perfect for that. So no, they're not part of the glee club. They're dangerous. That's why they called the Bnei Korah Mizmorim. These were the Bnei Korah. So when you come over here, notice that chapter 16 is Korah, 17 continuing, 18 from out of nowhere is Asaph, is the religious establishment. 19 is the religion. 18 is these revolutionary laws about the priests. 19 is
That's fine, right.
what is 19? No, 18 is the revolutionary. 19 is Parah Adumah. In Tehillim, the same system exists. They're attached. And what comes after the 18th Mizmor, Parah Adumah? What comes after Korah, right at the end? What is the last one? It is about death. What was discovered this week, she needs a plastic plate and fork. That's what she's waiting for you. So now,
But you said the 18th Mizmor. You meant
18th chapter of Bimidbar leads into Parah Adumah.
Yeah.
Right? It's about the
Death.
religious establishment. Well, in the Korah one, you're going to end up in a Mizmor about death, right? but it's going to be about death and have words that take you all the way back to the rebellion all over the place in 49 to the rebellion of Korah in the Torah. He uses many terms, and that's in the book. It shows the course references are overwhelming. You can't help but read it. And I even bring down a Midrash Tehillim that says it. Okay. Earlier, not as many as we point out, but a lot of them. That said,
Grandpa, for context, 49 is the one that we say at the Beit Avim.
yeah, that's what I said.
Talks about it.
We say it in the Beit Avil.
Killing flies when you said that.
1, 2,
Tilly.
3,
Yeah.
4,
I took him down to Sheol.
5.
Look at that guy over there.
Oh, I got. There's one for you. One for you. Everybody has one?
Good.
Great.
I don't.
You don't, sorry. I should make this more sophisticated and put it up on the screen for you.
You're so sure
But
that it wasn't you.
what I want you to see,
Take it.
I want you to see, look, we only have another 25 minutes left, and I want to cover this part of 49 very well. I want you to look at read it with me. Shemuzot kol amim, listen to this, all nations. Hazino kol yoshbehade haled gevir, all you inhabitants of earth. Gam b'nei Adam, also b'nei Adam, children of men. Gam b'nei Ish, children of Ish, of men, men. Yahad, together, Ashir ve'ebyon, rich and poor. Pia daber chochmot, my mouth is going to speak wisdom. Wisdoms. V'hagut libi tevunot, and the meditations of my heart, understanding. Atela mashal ozni. Let me just finish the piece. Atela mashal ozni. I will incline to parable, mashal, my ear. Iftah, I will open up bichinur, with the harp or the lyre. Hidati, my riddle. That is all part of the introduction. Yes, Oli?
Who are the two groups he's spoken to? Gamba de Adam, Gamba de Ish.
Who are they? Right, we'll talk.
Two separate groups.
Right. Right. So I'll tell you what I think soon about one of them, not both. Right away, when I read this, because of, so that's part one of this Mizmor. There's a 4-word superscripture. Was it good?
What?
Yeah. How about a hug? Okay, so then you want one too. So then,
From you.
so then, you have a 4-word superscription and then a 29-word like intro, we'll call it. Not a superscription, but an intro, because he didn't start talking yet. All he told you is what he was going to do. In our commentary, we write in volume 2 that in the 45th Mizmor, it just compares. The 45th Mizmor, he says, I'm going to be a scribe and I'm going to tell you about how unbelievable you are, and I'm going to speak quickly and sharp. And over here, he says the opposite. He doesn't speak to the king, he speaks to the entire world. Every single word that's said over here contrasts with the poem, with the introduction to the king's wedding days, poem that he reads to the king.
Mhm.
That said, the following happens. Lama ira bimera, why should I be afraid in times of trouble? Avon akebai yisubeni. Mars, I'll let you translate just that verse or a couple of them.
He doesn't have it.
It's or whoever has English open, AB, you
I
can
have.
read it. You have, go ahead, Ike.
When the injunctions that I trod upon will surround me.
Right. It's a difficult way, and that's not too good. Habotrim al hilam, those who trust in their wealth, Vrob Oshan Yitalalu, and in their great wealth they praise. Ah lo fado yifte ish. But a brother will not be able to redeem a man. Lo yitin Elohim kofro, he won't be able to pay ransom to God. V'yakar pidyon nefsham, and the redemption of their lives will be too precious, v'hadalu olam, and they will stop for eternity. V'hi od lanetzach, you think they're going to live forever? Lo yedeh hashah, they're not going to see the end. Ki yedeh, because you will see,
And he sees that.
or he sees, hachamim yamutu, wise men die, yahad kasil vabar, together. In other words, the wise and the foolish and the brutish, Yobedu, will be destroyed or perish, and leave to others their wealth. Kirbam batema lu'olam, they make a metathesis on saying Kirbam is a play on Kivram. Their graves are their homes forever, right? Their insides of their home, their graves. Mishkenotam lador vador, their mishkans, a strange word to use for their homes, forever. Karu b'shmotam, those who called out in their name on earth. Alei adamot.
Do you write that when the Mishkan gets swallowed?
Of course.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I write that.
It's
That
literally
Mishkenotam, it's literally the kever,
Unreal.
and it says Kirbam batem Mishkenotam lador vador, because with you know what Ronnie just asked in the commentary. Does it say? Well, what does it say Mishkan for? What Mishkanotam? You're talking about a guy. You have a Mishkan? I don't have a Mishkan. Mishkanotam, but it's talking about Korah, and Korah, it's called Mishkan Korah. That's all. So over here it says Kirbam batem olam Mishkanotam lador vador. It will be their Mishkan
So what is Kirbam?
for eternity, and Kirbam, their insides, is a play on their insides and their graves. It's all there internally.
So what does it mean on the Peshat before?
On the
It's a
Peshat,
play on-
Kirbam, their insides
Their insides what? Batemol, their olam.
will be there.
There's the inward thought
Will be what they. Yeah,
that the houses shall continue forever.
yeah, it's not good. I think of it like this. There'll just be you and nothing else for eternity, right? Right, and you're going down. You and what you were, what you stand for, Kirbam, right? That's what it means. In any event, V'adam bikar bal yalin, and a man with all his precious things, bal yalin, he doesn't sleep. Of course, we mean over there the eternal sleep, right, Sammy? Doesn't sleep, it means the eternal sleep. Nimshal, now, before, remember, he says, I'm going to speak in Mashal. So Nasha, in the parable, so the Nimshal is the, how do you say it in English? Of the parable?
The reality, the
I don't know.
object of the parable.
That's right. So what was the parable all about? Nimshal kabehemot nidmu. They die like animals, or they're compared to animals. The word nidmu could be like domeh, or it could be nidmu means to die, like to compare, right? They're gonna die. Zeh darkam, this is their way. Kese lamo. Go ahead.
Folly is there.
Folly and their
Right. Ve'acharehem b'fihem yirsu.
and their posterity, who proves their saying as a son.
Who proves?
Such is the fate of those who are self-confident, the end of those pleased with their own talk.
Yirsu b'fihem. Very difficult.
A little better.
Now, that's the end of the section, because you see there's a selah, so you see there's a red line. We've read what section 1, which is the superscription and intro. Section 2, which is the opening of the Mizmor. Now we're into section 3. Ketson l'shol shatu. They go like sheep to the Sheol. Sheol is the equivalent word to grave, right? Mavet yiraim, their shepherd is death. Virtu bam yisharim laboker, and those of integrity will rule over them at morning. They're going to go down. In other words, and we write in our commentary. This is when you'll all know. What does Moshe say to Korah? Boker v'yoda.
Marvelous.
Right on the boker. So he says, "Virdu bam yisharim la boker." Right. V'suram lebelot sheol mezibulo, and their sur, their images will fade away in the sheol from those things that were precious to them. they'll just turn into,
It's very interesting
Nothing.
that there's a Selah because it's continuing the animal imagery,
right,
where you would think Nimshal Behemot,
yes,
and then they're like sheep led to the slaughter,
right,
but they
again,
put a Selah.
right. He puts the sail up because there's a new section and a new idea is being conveyed, but still you have animals and animal imagery in Ketson, like the sheep going to slaughter. So
I'm saying it's not such a new idea in context. When he says Adam Yikad Ba'yal
yes, you could just keep reading. If there was no sailor, you would have kept reading. Yeah, that's correct. But this one, as you'll notice, if you look at the sheets that I gave you, there's 3 black and white areas. Those are the 3 she'ols. There's only 3 she'ols in this Mizmor, and those 3 she'ols, and they come in section 3. You see that? And we didn't finish it. Ach Elohim yifdeh nafshi miyad she'ol, but God will redeem my life from the she'ol, ki yikaheni, when he takes me. Now, those words mean the following. He has no idea what goes on in the future. He's telling him, you guys, you know where you're going? What's going to happen when you,
Not done, you're done.
the lights off, and that's the end of the story.
Illuminate.
But when I go, I'm confident that God, right, he'll be podemi, whatever that means. Whatever that means, I don't know what it means, right? But when he takes me, because he says God, God is God, right? Now so Sassoon has great thing about
Yes,
how you stay eternal.
Right.
You attach yourself, you all know this
Yeah.
well, you attach yourself to God's will. And the things that you participate in your life is what you'll call the Torah, the mitzvot. Always
Live on Peshtu.
Per-
Yeah.
working to perpetuate God's will in the world and to make it successful and to make it work and to make society better and so on and so forth,
And
right?
also perpetually, for on and on. So if you're gone, it's still right.
So if that's your will
Mm.
and that's what you want, well, that's going to go on through God's will
Forever.
because you attach yourself to God that way. See, the thing you want goes on forever. And the best example I use for that is a simple example. If you tell a guy that his kid's going to go on and he's not going to make it, but his child, what does he say? Done, perfect. Is he sad?
No.
No, he's sad to say goodbye. He's sad to say, "I'll see. I can't be with you." Right? Of course, you should be sad. That's normal. But does he say, "Wow, it's the best news that you could tell me in life"? Why? Because he sees that perpetuating him through that all to when? To infinity, so to speak, right?
Mhm.
So if you attach yourself to a human being, which is your child, what does it mean to attach yourself to God? And therefore it goes on infinite because he's infinite. You're not, but he is. So he's confident. That's what I look at those words. He's not concerned. Hitler, you know where he's going? No, he never attached himself to anything. To Sheol. You're off. You're off. There is no future for you, right? You have you will end, and that will be the end of that, right? Whereas he is confident. That's why he's using these words of redemption.
Mhm.
Section 3. Al tira, remember he says in the beginning, Lama ira, in verse 6, first words.
Yeah.
Over here in verse 17, Al tira, he tells you, don't be afraid, ki ashir ish, when a guy gets wealthy, ki be kibud beto, when the honor of his house will be so great, ki lo meoto yikah, because in death he will not take everything. Lo yered harav kevodo, his kavod is not going down now under him. That's the famous expression in the world. You can't take it with you. Extremely difficult pesu. You could read the English if anybody's looking.
Though he congratulates himself in his lifetime, they must admit that you did well by yourself.
Whatever that means.
That's
Yeah.
a quote. Like,
Tabo adorabo tav. Keep going slowly while you're
yeah, he
at.
must join the company of his ancestors.
Ad netzach lo yiru or.
We'll never see daylight again.
For eternity, they will never see daylight. Adam, now, the refrain that we had before in verse 13, "V'adam bikar ba'yalim nashkem shalke be'emot," he can't sleep, he'll be in the eternal sleep. Over here, it's that time bikar v'lo yabin, not bal yalin, now it's v'lo yabin. So he doesn't understand. Nimshal, the meaning of the parable is that kebehemot ninbu, they die like animals. Stop. When I read this Vizor, I want you all to look at the first red box that I put, Chochmot. So you know what Chochmot? I realized, I didn't use this strange word, Chochmot, wisdoms, because I'm going to tell you Chochmah about Mavet.
Ah,
I'm going to tell you Chochmah about death, right? Chochmot. Now look how many times he sticks the word
read this.
death. It's all about death. But look at verse 11. Kireh hakamim yamutu. Okay? Look at verse 12. Kirbam batemo. That's mort. Mishkinotam. That's motam. Now the three center words, those who called out bishmotam, Sammy, Ale on Adamot, and on the earths, but they're Adamot. Where does the actual word death occur in section 1, Ronnie, Ms.?
The actual.
The actual word death,
uh,
it's bigger than all the rest of the red boxes. Verse 11,
No.
section 2.
Oh,
Sorry.
section 2.
Yeah, there is none of
Yamutu.
Yamutu.
Right.
And in section 3,
B'motorika.
and in the last section, Bimotor.
Oh, so.
How many times does
Oh,
the actual word death occur in this Mizmor? Only 3 times. How many times does Sheol occur in this text?
3.
3 times. I realize things are going on with the number 3 in this Mizmor. Before we do that, I want to just read the other words of death. Kishon shatos shatu, mavet yirim. You see that one? Like sheep who are going to death, they go forward like to the Sheol, like son, like sheep, right? Like, the expression sheep going to the slaughter. They're going, mavet yirim, and death is their shepherd. Morris, you see the word shatu from the previous 3-word phrase in verse 15? Take a look at verse 15. Wait, let him look at it. You see verse 15? You see shatu?
Yep.
That's they will go. That means they will go forward. They will go, right? Like sheep. And then the next phrase is mavet yirim, that death will be their shepherd. Got it? Look at the last 2 letters of shatu and the next 3 letters, which is the actual word death. And what do you realize about it? Mavet, backwards and forwards.
Centered around the men.
Yeah.
You see the mem?
Yeah.
Taf, vav, mem. Backwards is mem, vav, taf. Forwards, it's actually death. But Sammy, you're now having no doubt whatsoever, of course, already, that this Mizmor takes death and inserts it at critical junctures, even backwards and forwards at that juncture, correct?
Correct.
Now, watch what happens. In the repeating refrain in verses 12 and 21, look what happens.
13.
I'm sorry? 12.
13.
No.
12. Kirbam batemu.
You said that because.
The repeating ones that not be.
I'm sorry. I made a mistake. In 12, before the repeating refrain, it says at the end, who, this is of course Korah, Karu bishmotam alei adamot, right? Anshe Korah, what were they? Anshe Shem, right? Karu bishmotam, that's how you refer to Anshe Shem, right? So you see the word bishmotam, their names, but it really is Mavet or Motam or their death. Then Aleh, then you see Adamot, then you end it with the word death.
Mhm.
You did it with Mavi. When you get to the refrain, it ends with kabehemot, like animals, but of course behemot ends Mars, you see it? With a with Mavit. Nidmu, they die. So the mem and the vav of Nidmu and the taf of behemot, first and last letters, makes Mavit. And the word behemot makes Mavit itself. When you go to the very end of this mizmor, it ends on the words kabehemot, Nidmu, like animals, they die. Stop. Everybody with me now? Because now it's already 8:25. And I have very important things to tell you. This Mizmor, this commentary on this Mizmor, I have many, many years already, because I told you volume 2 was finished 10 years ago or more. 10 years of editing. What the hell does that even mean? It's ridiculous. Because pieces had to be rewritten. Chunks had to be rewritten from scratch because there were parts that Alex wrote, as amazing as he was, that needed complete rewriting to get it for a book. I mean, when Alex would write, I've told you this in the past, I'd say things to him for days. And very, very at that time, the Hiddushim were going like wildfire, right? And he goes, I got it. And then he just sits down for a day or two, nonstop typing like a machine. And it's every single word I said, but beautifully written out. And it's not notes, he writes it out, but not for a book, not for publishing. That had to be refined and fixed and so on and so on.
And in 10 years, did you have new stuff to change?
Oh, yeah, I did.
That's good.
This is going to
That's
be
gonna be
the
great.
example of one of the things that happened this week that I didn't write, and I'm telling it to you now, that's going to go into volume 2. Thank you.
You clapping? Who's clapping?
When reading this Mizmor now, of course, I write that all of this is a comparison to the 45th Mizmor, which talks about the king who thinks he's going to live forever and so on and so forth. And I show the comparisons. You don't have to look at that now. And I always know it was talking about death. And I always knew, as you could see on your charts, there are yellows on the right side of the words. Like there's a 33 and a 69 and a 33 and a 69. And at the end of that verse, verse 14, there's a 66. You see that? And then there's a 30 and a 30 and a 30 and a 99. Everything in this Mizmor is in threes. 3 times the word Mavit, 3 times the word Sheol, 30 words, 33 words in the superscription and the introduction, right? 66 words to that point, 99 words altogether. Everything is in threes. Why? So does anybody have a guess about why everything is? Remember, this is the Mizmor about death. Why would the Mizmor about death be in threes, Morris? No shot? Really?
It's like fitting that everybody and
Yeah, that's what I would guess.
3 and then
Those are the ones that don't make it.
So baseball, it's not accident. I think there's serious to it. When they were doing it, they said, yeah, 4 chances. Not 4 chances. The parent, you better not do that again. You do it again. You do it again. After the second time, I'm telling you now, if you do it again, you're done. Don't think this is not going to go on. I warned you. You did it again. I'm giving you another warning. If you do it again, you're grounded for a week. Your phone's gone. 3 times. There's no 4th time because the 4th time, then the kid goes, okay, if you do it again, I'm telling you now, you're going to be in trouble. Then he does it again. I'm telling you now, you're going to be in trouble. Well,
Also,
3 strikes.
Empty, it's an empty threat. Yeah.
It's an empty threat. You had 3 opportunities. You blew it. Death is inevitable. You get your 3 strikes. And I think It has to do with that. Everybody with me? I think that's why everything is in threes, to every count, every section, everything, every amount of usages of words and so on and so forth.
Could also be Dor Shalishi.
No, so we-
No, but 3 generations.
Three generations. The fourth one goes free. The birds go free.
So to see a fourth generation, you're probably dead by the time the fourth generation comes
No,
around.
no.
3 generations is a normal.
You're expected to see four
Are you?
if you live a normal life. Yeah, yeah. If you're fortunate enough to live, how old is your oldest?
Yeah, okay, I see.
In your crew.
Right, okay.
How old is your
But
oldest?
going back to the.
Wait, how old is your
Yeah,
oldest?
18. Yeah, I can see 4 generations.
Easy, right? Easy.
but-
I had a,
But life was a shorter cycle.
but they got married very young.
I'm just.
Remember, the girls were getting married at 13 and 14.
for
The
three.
boys were getting married at 18,
But-
17 and 18.
Okay, but
It was a different world, so everything was more concentrated.
example of Abraham being Yaakov and Esau were 15 years old when Abraham died. So they didn't have it. So he only
Ah,
saw
okay, so-
the 3rd generation. There's something to,
Well, that's allegorical stuff.
but
Yeah.
it's still not, there's still.
Yosef sees, Yosef, the Bereshit ends off with Yosef seeing
This 4th generation.
the fourth generation on his lap, right?
Right,
Al Birkei Yosef.
but that was a unique.
Machir ben Yosef no do Al
But
Birkei
to
Yosef.
mention that is because it was a unique situation. To mention.
No, I
the
mentioned it because the fourth generation is the Berachah.
Right,
You,
that's-
when you see it, you see the future.
That's a step above the normal thing is a 3 generation. And the guy that Rasha is gonna die before seeing that
I'm-
4th generation.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
That's brilliant.
I think it exists within
Okay.
I think Mipi Olim Yonakim Satos means from the little kids that the individual is witnessing. It doesn't have to be his own
But
kids.
that's a
Yeah.
beracha.
Of course.
Right, so if you're 3 generations, because you're Rasha, because like that, you don't get to see that beracha.
You die maybe.
Right, so
Okay,
that's maybe the three.
Could be,
There.
could be. I hear what you're saying. Therefore,
But we can ignore it.
we finished with everything that I want to say to you, so I could say this. I realized that there's much more going on. I never attempted to say more than this because it's mind-blowing. Everything I just told you is unknown for 5,000 years. Everything, every single thing I told you.
We bumped it up.
Yeah.
Big jump.
Is any connection to Korah?
This 20.
No. The record, I told you, I bring down the Midrash Elim that sees this connected to Korah.
It's just so stark.
You can't miss that. But nobody sees this Mavet structure. Nobody sees the Mavet. Nobody sees all the rest of the things. Many of the things beyond what's shown, what they saw in the connection to Korah, we bring up because they don't know Bnei Korah is about. It's
Lo
about
metu.
Korah.
But Bnei Korach lo metu.
Bnei Korah lo metu, exactly.
Lo.
They go on, and you got big problems with them. Big problems. That's a warning, right? So now, what happens this week? Last week, I realized that this. Now remember, in Tehillim, it's the Bnei Korah. It ends on this Mizmor, and it turns to Asaph.
50.
And that's exactly what's going on in Bimidbar.
Mhm.
So then I say, 1 second,
What's-
this is located here because it's the commentary on Parah Adumah. And not only is it's a commentary on Parah Adumah. Now, the example would be, as Rabbi Sassoon said, why do you take it is an Izob? It is from the cedar. The biggest Izob is the hyssop, the lowest one. Yahad Ashir Ebyon. Right? Rabbi Sassoon said that, not about 49. He said, you know, when you do that, you're saying, who dies? Parah Adumah. What do you see going up and turning into ashes?
Everything.
Biggest and small.
Everything.
The biggest and the smallest. What does the Kohen do? He watches it. He watches the animal go turn into ashes. You know, the animals over here, they die like animals. The two refrains end with they die. Now look at the words that are the 3 center words of the Mizmor, which is in Pasuk 12. Karu bishmotam ale adamot. Adamot. Adumah.
Ah,
Take a look at the very next words after the first word after Adamot. Stanley.
Adam.
Adumah.
Adam.
Adamot para Adumah. He even put in, not only did he put in the word para Adumah, he put in Adumah.
Bakar is the next one. Bakar is Bakar.
Ah,
Oh.
Bikar, he put in Bakar.
Parah.
So para Adumah, Bakar. Kabehemot and Mavet, the animal, death, and Nidmu is like Adumah. So, Parah, Adumah, that dies, right?
It's red.
And symbolizes the rich and the poor.
And it symbolizes the rich and poor. Everybody's going up.
And the non-powerful.
Exactly. So the whole Mizmor is giving you a pirush. Now, what's exciting about this? This is a commentary from a Navi on what Parah Adumah means. You know how they all say, what does Parah Adumah mean? And everybody writes all kinds of commentaries trying to figure it out. Don't figure it out. Read this. The Navi is telling you, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to open up the riddle to you. Remember the words? Take a look, Morris.
The riddle.
In verse 5. If Atela Mashal Ozni, I'll incline my ear to parable. If Hidati, I'm going to open up with the liar my riddle. And it is a riddle, and I'm going to cipher the riddle for you, and I'm going to tell you what it means. So you no longer have to, that's why I said 5,000 years. I used it this time more than usual. Can you imagine? You've had a prophet's telling you, I'm going to tell you what it all means. I'm going to tell you what that ritual in the Torah is, not what you think it is, what people, here it is. This is what it's all about. Therefore, we can't do that tonight. You look closely on your own at this, and what do you see, Sammy? A detailed explanation of every single thing that goes on in Parah Adumah, whether it's the is, whether it's the Izob, whether it's watching the animal turn into ashes.
And the whole thing.
Or it's red.
Everything just.
Or it's red, right? That word Adumah really is Adumah is a play on Adam. Adam Bikar Balilim. Adam and Bakar. Right.
Bakar, and then at the end of the pasuk, it just
right.
But what is that?
So it's the Parah Adumah, it's the part that's about man and how it goes up in ashes. You go up in ashes. No, you don't go up in ashes. You turn into dust. Every human being in the world is going to end up that way. Every human being. Nobody escapes this. This is what it's all about.
But if you cling to God and Torah and living waters, then you can escape it.
That's correct. Exactly. That's the Mayim Hayim, right? That's why he has says, right? In his life, he can bring beracha. He can do the right thing. It's within his, how do you say, within his purview. It's within range, within sight of what his abilities are to make it happen, to make it turn into living waters. And you can take from that, and that can revive you when you're thinking about death, when you're confronted with death, and so on and so forth. Because it's the most devastating thing there is. There's nothing more devastating, right?
And even the animals, it's the flesh and the skin.
The blood.
The blood is sprinkled 7 times towards in the ritual. He takes the blood from this animal and he sprinkles it 7 times towards the mikdash, right?
But what I'm saying is, like, if you wanted to say, like, the fat of the animal, the material,
all going up
that you're desiring,
right?
That's like the wealth,
right? That's correct. That is true. But why does he take the blood and sprinkle it towards of that animal and sprinkle it?
It's the life blood, the life.
And also
is life.
That is life. When you're sprinkling it towards, that means you're attaching yourself
to the Mishkan.
That means you're attaching yourself to God.
Yeah.
That means you're attaching yourself to what God wants. that means your will is attached to God's will.
By the
Well,
way-
that's where there's life.
But this is
That's
done separate from the ritual place, it's away from
Exactly,
Mishkan.
right,
It's because it's totally not related to the ritual, it's related to the adat,
right.
to the being a good person as opposed to the ritual. That's why we don't do it in
Right.
Mishkan.
Right, you go out of the camp
Yeah.
to do that. You go outside
The ritualistic.
and you look,
Those are
you,
further
and he watches
away
it
from the
happening.
Yeah, it's the way, yeah.
But then the Mishkan comes up again in verse 12.
Yeah,
Now maybe it's not only about the Mishkan Korah that got swallowed,
right,
but it's you also
right.
focusing your attention to the real Mishkan,
Hmm.
to God.
That's their Mishkan forever, not our Mishkan, not your Mishkan.
Building.
Right.
Is-
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. This that I just told you tonight is only the tip of the iceberg. It's the tip of the iceberg of a commentary on Parah Adumah, which is Zot Hukat HaTorah. This is the big one.
Right.
And what does it mean? So you have an Navi telling you exactly what it means. Not maybe what it means, every detail about it. And each one of these words has to be, which is in motion right now for me personally, to try and get a full picture of the Parah Adumah and its process and how it works.
Wow.
Isn't it great?
So it's another 10 years.
But isn't it? No, see, I'm gonna put it in no matter what in volume 2 now. I'm gonna put in
But it's a lot of work.
I'm gonna write up,
Yeah.
have to write some paragraphs about this to let them know that this is the Pirush on, this is these parables, this,
Right.
I'm gonna give you this Nimshal Kebehemot Tidmu. You know, it ends up on the words Nimshal Kebehemot, like animals, Midmu, they die. The Parah Adumah is about an animal that dies, you know, it's incredible, it's incredible.
And you have
And
Korah
then
in
seeing
there
the
too.
words Adam and Adamot and Chochmot and Bishmotam and realizing that Adamot is, now I didn't, one more thing to tell you. What's the center word? Bishmotam Ale Adamot. Their names Ale on Adamot. What is the animal? It's the Parah Adumah Asher in Bohum Velo ala aleha all. Right? It's alliterative. Velo ala aleha all. The middle word is aleh. That's the middle word of this entire text. Lo ala aleha all. It's highlighting it. Look, in the Torah, it did it on purpose. They said lo ala aleha all. It used it 3 times in a row, and it made it alliterative because it's saying, what is lo ala aleha all? It's free of burden.
Pure.
Have anything
Pure.
on.
Never had anything on it. That's how human beings like to think of themselves. Without burden, without responsibility, without anything, you know.
I think innocent, doesn't it mean
And
innocent?
that whole thing goes up into nothing, that approach, right?
What's the Gambane Adam, Gambane Ish?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't exactly know, other than to say this. In reality, Bnei Adam and Bnei Ish refer to the different levels in society,
Yeah.
right? Because after that it says Yahad Ashir V'Evion, rich and poor. So Bnei Adam could be referring to
Regular man.
people,
Yeah.
and Bnei Ish could be referring to the, you know, yeah,
Well,
the Bnei Ish, the big guys.
earlier in thinking, right?
Not necessarily with a bad connotation. There's nothing,
Just a
poor
total
people
status.
aren't bad, and Ashirim aren't bad.
Status, yeah.
This is just status. Yeah, Ashir means he's rich. He could be the greatest tzaddik in the world. If Yon could be the greatest tzaddik
But
in
the
the
point
world.
is, he's talking to everybody.
Yeah, that's the point. It's
Doesn't-
from Bnei, but it's beneficial to have Bnei Adam because that's already the Parah Adumah. He's using the word Adam purposely because Parah Adumah is about the man.
Ish Anshe Shem, does that have maybe, that's what we're referring
No,
to?
perfect.
Yeah,
Anshe Shem is Ish.
yeah, no, we said that, yeah.
Bnei Ish comes up in Mizmor 3, right? Bnei Ish, Admer, Te'ahavun.
Mhm, mhm.
That's probably the important ones.
Yeah, yeah.
To actually.
How long are you gonna be into nothing, into Rik, right? You love it, right? And you're talking about the important people.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I can't help but
Adam
think,
is probably the Evion.
I'm sorry, I get in here.
I was gonna say, I can't help but think when the Korbanot are first introduced, it's Adam ki akriv mikem. This this Parah Adumah is probably the last of the mention of korbanot in the Torah.
Right.
Maybe
Well,
like,
and it's really not a korban.
right.
It's
an
a ritual for you to experience something.
Adama, Adumah. Right.
Right, right.
Adam.
So what do you say? Do you like it, guys?
Yeah, you have Korah in here too. That's what it is. You have Korah, the Parah Adumah.
Yeah.
More.
So Tehillim is maintaining. What is the thing that helped me with this? I read a note, and he was there. I read a note, and the note I read is. Did I bring it? If I brought it, it's great. 1 second. I was hoping I brought it. I'll read it to you before we end the class. Yeah,
2011.
this is in 2011. Where was the point? Wait. The juxtaposition in Tehillim is following the juxtaposition in the Torah. I wrote this in 2011 now. I didn't know what I told you today. He witnessed it. So he was,
14
and
years.
Joey Namath wasn't there. You can't imagine what we did to Joey Namath. We killed him. Ralphie and I, you weren't there. And he texts him, you missed the greatest cooking session in the world, live. And no, and if you think Joey's not burning, what?
He was going crazy.
He was going crazy. He was going out of his mind.
He went crazy today.
Is Joey there?
Yesterday when you told him.
It's great. So the juxtaposition in Tehillim is following the juxtaposition in the Torah, 15, the point 15. The two main areas of leadership of the nation are political and religious establishments. They go hand in hand. Next point. The nation's exile was brought about by the corruption of both, as we point out in the Bnei Korah Psalms. Reasons for Psalm 45's location after 44, devastating. Chapter 19 turns to Parah Adumah, referred to as Zot Chukat Torah, the ritual of the Torah giving its special significance over all other ritual. 18. This law comes at the end of Numbers and will be referenced in the war with Midian. So I'm showing this juxtaposition, and then we're looking at it, and I'm reading and going, Parah Adumah. And it didn't skip it. It's a perfect system of flowing from one to the next. And therefore, by knowing that, we would not have known that if we didn't realize, and if we didn't have it all broken out, and then saw how clearly he's using the word Adumah.
That was like that.
He's using it, he's saying it, and he's mentioning animals. You caught it yourself when you just now saw that Adam be caught. You say, oh, there's a man, there's the Adumah, and it's an animal. It's giving you hints, and he tells you, I'm going to talk about the riddle. You can't get more explicit than that, right? Parable, right? I'm going to incline you to Mashal and Hidah. I'm going to open up. I'm going to take the Hidah with the harp, and I'm going to open up. You know what that means? That means it requires meditation. The harp always, when the Navi wanted to get a prophecy, remember he says, bring me the harp. And he's going to get, he's going to get in the frame of mind to go and to get prophecy, because you need focus. So like you have to think of the music as like you get very, very, very focused, and you can hone in on it, right? So he uses, you can't get better than it. Says, I'm going to talk about parables, and he says the word nimshal, and the nimshal of the mashal is this. He tells you what the nimshal of it is. But now you have a completely different understanding. It's a much richer understanding. It's a much clearer understanding. And when you remove a lot of things that you were guessing at that are not the point. And some of the things that you thought about get reinforced. Both happen.
Mostly.
You reinforce some of the tracks that were the correct tracks, and you get rid of the ones that were off base.
But where does
Good stuff,
Korah
no?
come in, Ronnie? Where does Korah come in? I mean, it's obvious the Korah story is all over.
Korah brought on death. Korah, Yohanan ben Kareah, is the only other Korah in Tanakh. His name is Yohanan ben Kareah. In chapter 41 and 42 of Yirmiyah, Korah over there tells Yirmiyah, whatever him and a couple other guys say, whatever you've been saying all this time is all true. tell us what to do, and we'll do it. Because you've been right. So he warns them, you better be prepared to listen to the shofar, called shofar. And after 10 days, he comes and answers them. And he tells them, you have to stay here, don't leave, there'll be no galut. Everything will be great. Even though Gedaliah was killed. And I claim, when he said that, didn't the Babylonians want to take Nebuzaradan comes to Yirmiyah, says, I have instructions to take you back and set you up in Babel. He's like a hero, because
Because you predicted their,
wherever he goes, he's brilliant, right? So, and he says
he predicted Babel's rise.
they knew he told the Jews, give in. So I think Yirmiyah was saying, just stay here. That when you killed the governor they put in place, who was a great man, but I'll take care of it. Because they'll come and he'll say, bad guys did it. We're here. We're with you. And everything will be all right. They say, no, we're going to Egypt. They all die.
So what is Yochanan ben Kareah? He's good, man. He says,
No, he's
well,
the
he's
guy who
bad.
told Yirmiyah drop dead after he says it. After 10 days on Yom Kippur.
Tell to reach out.
Right? He tells him, we're not listening to one word. You're a con man. Baruch ben Neriah setting you up.
The connection
To-
to model of bad leadership, Korah model of bad.
That's right. Model
Motivated by
evil.
wrong.
He ends up killing. He
Because it-
brought about
or-
death.
Yeah.
No,
He wants to.
you don't get back for a long time after you leave.
Right.
He tells him, you stay here, there won't be a galut. Even though it's very bad, but you'll rebuild here in the country. Not you'll rebuild living out in alien territory. You'll be
Then the
here,
connection-
your country.
But then the connection between the connection. So proximity of that death and that Korah, whether it be Korah or even Kareah,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
The point of the piece of Parah Adumah happening right afterwards,
Mhm.
and the point of this is more showing that transition from Korah to Asaf, so whatever.
Right. Because
It's the point of this is more trying to say, yes, there's death, but Parah Adumah resolves the concept.
no, it doesn't resolve. No.
Because you can get Kahor again.
You lived your life, you leaders of the country that brought on death.
Yeah.
You lived your life into yourself. You were selfish, self-centered, low-life, decadent animals, orgies, and you priests were doing the same thing. You're a bunch of lowlifes, right? You brought death and suffering to the nation. You're going to go down. You're finished. The people who have the right attitude are going to be the survivors. Not in Gan Eden, no, survivors in whatever that means. And whatever that means. That's the way to look at it. You know what? You know
The
what
message of this is more is
is
that.
look at that animal go up in ashes.
That's what I'm saying. The Ms. Mordish trying to tell you that the people who will succeed will be the ones with the better attitude.
That's correct. That's
And-
true.
And that will be symbolized to some extent by the Parah Adumah ceremony. or-
That's correct. Right. So therefore, when an individual is confronted with death, yes, they do need therapy.
More than just the animal going up in smoke and you're watching.
More than that, more than that. You,
But the
the
that's what I'm
idea,
trying to say,
the
last piece
symbolism of it
is
yes.
understanding that while the animal's going up in smoke, this whole thing has the power
No.
to restore purity to what otherwise
Not the
was.
power.
not the power.
Not the,
It's a psychological.
power or not power, whatever word you want to use, that when you sprinkle it on the person becomes.
When you
power.
sprinkle that's the water, the living waters.
Right. So you're
That's-
taking the
That
death of the
idea
cow.
is taking that thing of that understanding, sprinkling it on yourself and gives you perspective, and therefore you go on living.
Despite it coming from turning
like-
and killing this cow.
Well, and on that level, but to the person who's just confronting, God forbid, death or whatever, and terrible thing, the person who keeps this perspective, that was always correct when they understood this.
The guy who's confronting.
That sprinkling makes you get perspective, and the perspective will lift you out and say,
Okay.
But
so that's-
there's a disconnect though, because the burning of the animal, like, there's not the person who wants to get the horn, he's never gonna see that. He just comes in, they sprinkle ashes on him.
right,
Things are different process, the taking the animal, burning the animal,
What you're
creating
saying-
the ashes, now you have the ashes.
Well, what you're saying that is that the message, but that what you're
It's not
saying is.
forgotten, it's not forgotten.
It's not forgotten, but it's not the emphasis. The guy sitting there said, oh, that was an animal, it was
Not
killed.
that guy, not that guy, the guy who's responsible for putting it all together, for doing the
But
ritual.
we're talking about the guy who had to come in, he,
But
he
knows.
was involved in death, now we're gonna go
He knows
through.
what-
Who are you trying to give this message to?
Everybody,
No, it's not everybody.
everybody.
Yes,
Is
every
everybody-
person who could.
גם בני אדם, גם בני איש, יחד השיר ותביון.
Everybody.
It's fine, but there's some
All
message
walks of life.
specifically to the. I guess it's
To
the
the
Kohen
Kohen.
who's doing it.
Certainly, he's the one that's chosen to watch this.
Watch it.
Right.
You watch this,
So that you see,
yeah,
That you have
this is
no.
where it all is up. Look, what do you think you are? You're gonna let, and remember, right before this, what did it say to the Kohen?
Yeah, you're taking over.
You work for me.
Right, yeah, we'll give you a little.
You- You're not holy, you work for me.
Right.
You work for me, I'll pay you. The people will donate money to a thing, to the Mishkan, and we'll,
So that's
so
what I'm
you
saying,
eat
is
and you
it-
drink and everything,
That's
but
not
you're,
what I'm saying,
you're,
this
you're,
is an
you're
extension.
responsible for them. And if anything goes wrong, it's in your head.
that's why I'm saying is there to some extent this as this an extension of the message that you're trying to communicate to the Kohen and say, and by the way, this is
Yeah,
how
it-
you
Don't
succeed.
say and, but it's multi-layered.
Fine.
Say multi-layered.
Well, this is
somebody
the
dies-
finale. This is the finale.
And it's multi-layered. It's
Kohen, when somebody-
complicated.
Kohen, when
That's
somebody
why he
dies,
says,
you have
I'm
to
gonna,
do it.
that's why he says, I'm gonna open up the riddle to you. It's complicated.
That's
It's
fine.
not
Well,
single layered here.
Right,
It's a message to the poor, it's a message to the rich, it's that.
and just
Especially-
telling you, Kohen, when someone dies, you have nothing to do with it.
Right,
It's an important factor also,
Right.
right, that, right,
you can't go anywhere near it.
right. You're gonna sprinkle some of the guy, has nothing to do with
That's
it.
why it's not invited out.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Nimshal Kabehemot and Edmund is saying you should see yourself as this animal.
Exactly. But that's where you end up,
Nothing.
Or-
which is the famous thing that the whole world.
Dying and no one's gonna care and it's gone, you're discontinued,
Yeah,
or you're dying
you're not
in a much
discontinued,
better, under much better circumstances where you've gone.
you're connected to God.
That's what I'm saying is that you could look at the Parah Adumah, if you're connecting it to that, is that the Parah Adumah, in its death, is actually accomplishing something very positive
Yes,
as opposed to
yes,
just the Korah people who died,
Right.
nothing positive.
right, very much so, very much so.
Yes, of this week.
The Kohen should function like a therapist to those people
Mhm.
and give them that kind of advice.
Yeah.
That this is a good person and this is life and this is how it works.
And again, that goes,
And God is eternal.
connects back to the fact that Chazal decided that this would be the appropriate mizmor for Bet Abel.
Right.
That's also the message you want to give.
It's not like the rabbis didn't see any man, they saw plenty of men
They
here.
must have, somebody must,
I wanted to,
Don't take it, take it.
no, I wanted to show you
what
what.
you're saying, they may not have seen is the connectivity that this mizmor has
Stop the
to
recording.
1 second, guys.
Parah Adumah.
I'm just gonna stop the.
Meaning the obvious connection that the
Why?
Chazal saw was the connection.
All right.
between This,
See ya.
and what, and its ability, and
I
it's
know
how,
it's the-
not the Parah Adumah, but they see